What's up, guys? Rick in here with Flip with Rick. If you haven't noticed, I'm Dad. I'm not Zach. So I want to share with you and talk about direct mail today. So bear with me. I'm not the most technologically advanced on the internet, but I do have a lot of experience. So those of you that don't know me, I'm going to formally introduce myself. It's Rick Ginn with Flip with Rick. So I'm the Rick and my son is Zach. So we run a family wholesaling real estate flipping business. And I love this business. So the passion and energy you see from Zach is his own. And a lot of the teachings are me. So I've been doing this since really 2003. And I love this business, man. I love it. I love being authentic. I feel that in today's age, you don't have to pay $1 million to get this information. In fact, you can do it for free. So what I'm going to do is I want to take some time and I want to walk through just the basic process of direct mail, how to get it started, actually how to do it. And then at the end, I will go through the Q&A and answer questions, and we will wrap it up with that. So do me a favor, listen. Before we get started, smash the like button, hit that subscribe button. Zach would kill me if you didn't do that. It keeps us energized and wanting to bring you more and more information. So I'm going to bring you a little bit more from the wisdom side. And I want you guys to remember, at one point, I was just like most of the people watching. I was freaking out trying to do real estate, specifically wholesaling, and I had very, very little information. And I gotta be honest with you, I had to figure out a lot of it myself, and I had to pay other people money, and it didn't always work out. So I knew at some point I had to connect and share information. And I love the platforms with social media now. And Zach, which I spent a lot of time mentoring and coaching in this business, I figured if I could teach a 17-year-old how to make 6 figures in this business, there's no reason you can't do it. So let's jump back to the basics. I started with direct mail. I am a direct mail expert. People have paid me a lot of money all over the country. And to be honest, we make a ton of money in our local Florida market doing it. So let's talk about direct mail. So the first thing we need to do is let's talk about, let me get set here. People always ask me, hey, Rick, who do you use for direct mail? I don't want to get into it. I don't sell direct mail. I'm not in the printing business. But if you go to the link flashing across the screen, you can actually duplicate my exact system. I don't own a mail house or do anything like that. But I believe in making things super easy if you just follow what I do. And it doesn't matter if you spend 10,000 mailers or 300 mailers, you use the exact same system. I'll share with you the ad copy and everything we do right there. So enough of that. So the first thing we have to do is, to be successful at direct mail, we have to start with a list. So a list is nothing more than a list of all your prospective customers. So if you're saying, Rick, how do I pull a list? Guys, you just got to find a list of motivated sellers. I like any list that you have to actually go out and get. So this isn't a show. This video is not about lists. And I'll provide you the exact list we use on that. I love code violations. When we get in the Q&A, we'll talk more live. I love code violations, tax delinquencies, and high equity lists. So if I had to pick 3 lists, I would start with those if I was first starting out with direct mail. So if you need help getting a list, the easiest way is just go to listrei.com. That's what we use, not my company. And it's really, really easy now. All the filters, everything's in there. And I would start with there if you're building your list. So number 1, we have to build the list. Without a list, you can't mail. So that's going to be step one on what we do with that. So let's go to our next one. The next thing, the big thing is, Rick, what do I mail? What's it going to look like? Guys, I've spent so much time with direct mail, and I don't want you to have to go through the struggles I went through. So anybody who knows before, when Zach was a little tiny boy, I decided to go against the norm of what direct mail was, and I created what's called a handwritten postcard. And what we did is it was like a handwritten font. It was a simple ad copy. It said, just, I want to buy your house for cash. Give me a call if you're interested. And at the end, I experimented with the signature. So I'm going to share something with you completely golden right now. If you go the handwritten font type, it still works. It's not nearly as effective because everybody duplicated what I created. But the signature, God bless, at the end, I got 15% higher response rate adding God bless. You know why? Nobody got offended. It was very complimentary and it was neutral, and people really appreciated it. You can't tick people off with the word God bless. So use that little trick if you use the handwritten postcard. I created that back actually in 2012, and I made it public around 2013, 14. And we don't use it as much today because every mail house has knocked it off. And that's one of the problems you have to talk about direct mail is you have to be unique. So we're going to share ideas in the Q&A on how you can be unique. I got some great ideas for it. So number one, we've pulled the list. The list is crucial. Number two, talk about ad copy. So your next question is probably going to be, do you use a letter or do I use a postcard? In actuality, it doesn't matter. The problem with the letter is it's a lot of work and it's expensive. A postcard on average is about 50 to 60% cheaper than mailing a letter. So I don't know about you, but when I started, I did not have a lot of money to do this. I would mail as many as 200 postcards in one time because that's what I could afford. And back then, before we did automation with computers and printers, I would pay a little lady next door to handwrite the envelopes. And we got incredible responses doing that. Remember, it was unique. Nobody else was doing it. Somebody wrote me a letter. I got to open it up. And that still works today. And if you're on a really, really tight budget, a handwritten letter, the downside is the stamp's going to cost you significantly more than a postcard. So moving on to a postcard, they're simple. People read them quickly and they go through them. You typically have to do more postcards than a letter to get a response. The plus side is it's a heck of a lot cheaper. So we'll get into it on the Q&As on what the debate between letters and postcards. I personally use postcards. It's cost efficient. It's easy to do, and I can click buttons and have it mailed out. And I don't expect you guys to mail 10,000 mailers, but you can do 200 postcards. If you guys want to do like a DIY on like postcards, go to Click to Mail. That's one of the ones I started out. That's actually the USPS Postal Service or United States government. And you can actually create one on there, put your list on there and put it out. I don't use it anymore because it's kind of gotten pricey. But if you're going to do a very, very small batch, you can do them by hand. There's no problem with that. I did that at first. So heed the warning. If you have a very tight budget, do it. You want to get leads in so you can get that first deal. And that first deal, you want to allocate a big chunk of it towards future marketing. So direct mail. So where was I? Okay, so now we're talking about letter versus postcard. I like postcards. I think you can reach more people faster and it's just easier. I've been doing postcards probably for 13, 14 years now. It just works. And here's the key, guys. It works today in today's market. Actually, we just got 2 deals on our desk today and they were both off postcards. And here's the really cool thing. One of the postcards, the guy gave it to the neighbor of an abandoned house that was boarded up. And the guy was there taking care of it. I go, listen, this guy sent me a postcard. I think they're legit. And they called, we made the connection, boom, a deal right there. So it really works. I love direct mail. And so it doesn't matter. You don't have to do direct mail on a giant volume. You just have to have a really, really good list to make it connect. So we've pulled our ad copy. We've pulled our list. We're creating our ad copy. And so now we actually have to order the mail. This used to be a brutal step when I first started. It was so hard. There was no online services. To find a service, they wanted you to commit to a contract and print tons of stuff. Guys, you don't need to do that anymore. You actually click, it's probably a little bit more. You set up your first postcard, you pick your ad copy, your lists. Actually, it takes the seller's name, it takes the address you're trying to buy, and put your phone number. And, if you put a website or anything else, which you really don't need, and that's it. It's called a mail merge. So you take your list, you have your ad copy, and what the mail house service does is it does the mail merge automatically for you. And really cool, guys, if you use a really good mail house, you can use the one that I provided and just duplicate us. They will do most of this for you and walk you through on doing it. It's really simple. You pay online and you can spread your mailings out accordingly. The other reason I love to use direct mail is for 7 years, I used direct mail all on my own. I was the acquisitions guy. I was the disposition guy. I was the transaction coordinator. I was everything. I met with everybody and I did it. And I felt I had, what I love about direct mail is the mail comes in. So I'm not cold calling. Cold calling takes guts and it takes hustle. I chose to do the other path when I did it, which was direct mail. We still do cold calling. I love cold calling, and kudos to you guys. Go out there and jam on the phones, man. It's awesome. But the advantage of direct mail, even if you're doing cold calling, is the calls come into you. So our next step we're going to do on it is we got the mail house. And the next one is you got to answer your phone. So here's a key you must know. Please use a virtual phone number. A virtual phone number, you can go anywhere online. I started out with Vumber when it was nothing, and it's like $8 or $9 a month. Make sure, and all that does is forward to your cell phone, or I don't think anybody has a landline anymore. And the key with it, it helps you understand the incoming call and the mail list you got it coming from. So it'll help you track your results. So you know if you're getting phone calls on your incoming mail. And it'll also kind of give you some privacy if you get someone who's a real pain in your butt. And it will happen if you spend enough time doing direct mail, cold call, SMS. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So use a virtual phone number. So this is probably the biggest key to direct mail. And I don't know, at some point, some guru taught people to let it go to voicemail and follow through. Now, initially, I did that, and I would take a couple days to get back to people. Fast forward to 2021, you will kill your business if you don't answer your phone. You know why? Because if your sellers get 5 or 10 other postcards or letters, and they have the guts to call you on your letter, maybe there are 2 or 3 phone calls in, they keep getting voicemail, and then guess what? They call Rick. Hi there, how you doing? Are you interested in selling your house? They're live, I have them, I get their attention, they're focused, and guess what? I'm going to make them feel comfortable. I'm gonna lock down an appointment, and I'm gonna make sure she or he puts down every other postcard in their hand. That tip right there will make you, it will make you a wild amount of money. I can't tell you how much money I've made off of that. I taught Zach this trick. He helps me answer the phone. We just doubled and tripled our volume. And to this date, our company, we have to answer the phones live. So guys, you spend all this time, money pulling lists. You paid for that. You do your mail, you pay for that. You have virtual phone numbers, you have all this. Your entire business is about your phone ringing. Don't be scared of it. It's okay to be a little bit fearful when you start. And I get it. I remember back when I first did it. Answer the phone. The worst they're going to do is hang up on you or tell you something not very nice. Just thicken your skin up and go through it. If you answer that phone, you have an opportunity. If you don't answer your phone, you don't have an opportunity. Now, if I'm doing something, you're busy and you miss it, just call them right back. Don't even listen to the message. Just call back. I am telling you, this tip alone will make a huge difference in your business. And that goes through any marketing channel you do. But direct mail, to this date, I don't know why investors don't answer their mail. So answer your phone, make sure you use a virtual phone number. And by the way, this is one of the ad copies that we use. You can actually go to that link I showed you guys before, and you can actually copy it. It works really well for us. I make the phone number really nice and big. Blocked it off so y'all don't like call me 1,000 times. You can see us online every day, by the way. And guys, that's kind of it. And really after that, you're cashing checks. So we're going to pull the list. We're going to choose our ad copy and choose something that resonates with you. The good news is all these mail houses, it's all done for you. I had to spend so much energy creating the handwritten postcard. I don't like, I was nuts to do it, but it worked. But it cost me a lot of time and money to do it. In today's age, you don't need to do that. You can piggyback off other people's success. The key with direct mail, we're going to go to Q&A, is to avoid the saturation piece. So for a couple of years, I locked in, I used that Google image postcard. And if you guys never heard of it, it was a postcard, and it actually scraped the image of the house off the property records of your local county, and it hit well. The problem is every other mail house across the country duplicated. And what happened is investors were getting 5 or 10 postcards that are identical. You know what? The only thing that was different, the investor's name and phone number. You're not authentic anymore. You're not thinking outside the box. And the key here is to use a mail piece works when it starts to slide off and it's not working. Start understanding you're going to have to find something else to rotate in your direct mail. So really the key with direct mail is to make sure you keep it fresh. The whole goal of direct mail, guys, I promise you're going to Q&A, is to engage your prospect. That's it. That's it. There's no other, like, my postcards are so simple. Like you don't see a lot of writing on the postcard. There's a reason for it. I want to create intrigue. I want to get them excited. Call. If I go through and go, okay, I do this, I pay this, I do this, and call me. I do bankruptcies. I do probates. I do foreclosures. If you're behind on taxes, if you're behind in payments, like they're going to look at your postcard and in 5 seconds going to make a decision on you. And if you put too much on it, they do not want to read a book. Remember, you're shoving it in their mailbox. You're probably pissing off a lot of people, but the idea is, yeah, we might need to sell this house. And they take the postcard. They either call you or they set it on their desk and they might call you. Now, the really cool thing about direct mail is it might take a few months for them to call you. That's okay. If I took $100 and I hid it in a box in your backyard and I go, listen, I got $100 coming your way, but I'm not going to tell you when it hits. Would you say, okay? I'd still try to convince to get the $100. But if they say, are you okay getting it 3 months later? I would say, yes, I would take it every time because I plan on doing this business for the long run. So last but not least, as I said, we do all the different marketing channels, SMS, cold call. In the old days, I used to do door knocking. I don't really advise that anymore. It's kind of tough. And a lot of places it's illegal. So don't go out and knock on doors. It's direct mail it's illegal. There's no penalties for doing it. And you can't be sued. You can't be fined because it's backed by the United States government. So what we're going to do is roll over to comments. And this is where it gets fun. So let me pull everything up here. And that's it. So guys, I am on here live. I'm not as efficient as Zach. So bear with me. So Thanks so much for Rick and Zach's insight. Awesome, guys. I appreciate it. I'm in. Great tips on the God bless. God bless. God bless works really well, guys. So if you guys are just tuning in, you're saying, what is this a religious ceremony? It's not. God bless is just a sign off. Instead of using the traditional words like sincerely, thank you, have a nice day, I find that God bless just touches people. And when you can touch and make anything personal in this business, remember, we're in the business of solving problems for people. Real estate is just a symptom of what we do. So I've done so well in wholesaling real estate because I solve people's problems. I actually enjoy it. I love solving problems. I didn't like solving problems in high school, but man, if I could go back to my math teacher now and show her the amount of problem solving and how much time, listen, I make plenty of money, but more importantly, I get time. You guys see Zach, the reason Zach is the way, well, I'm going to give him a lot of credit. The kid worked hard, got great grades, but I was able to spend a ton of time with Zach. So I started wholesaling when Zach was just over 3 years old, just to give you a reference point. And I was able to spend time with him. I was able to go to his grade school events. I was able to go to all his wrestling tournaments. And that's what wholesaling real estate created for me. So let's jump into it. Let's see here. Gerardo says, I'm new to trying to get into wholesaling in the Phoenix market. I've been calling and texting. Should I look for a different market out of state? I'm on a small budget looking into mailing also. So first of all, Gerardo, awesome for starting. What I've learned is it doesn't matter what market you're in. I know I might get some flack for that. Is it more challenging? Yeah, but if it's more challenging, it means it's going to be more rewarding. My advice to you, and I'm going to give you advice that I actually did in my business and I still do this day, do your local market, make it happen. Because if you grew up where you're investing, you know the streets, you know the values, you know the tendencies, you know the trends. Understanding it, if you decide to go to another market, and I know virtual marketing is very, very sexy right now, and I do it myself, but it's like going to the moon sometimes. Like in Florida, we don't have basements. So when I have to assess a property and figure out like what the numbers are, I don't even understand like basements. I think it's really cool. You can't do that in Florida. Like we're on water, like swampland. So you have to learn the dynamics of that market. And the problem with it is it takes time. Yes, you can get lots of deals in lower end markets. Say if you jump around, there's a million of them. So if you're in like California, New York, or Florida, it's more challenging, but it's more rewarding. The problem with that is how long is it going to take you to figure out that market? So you're going to have to buy houses 40, 50 cents on the dollar to make those virtual markets work. And then you're going to have to partner up with someone. And it's a lot of work. If you're just starting out, then you have to learn all these dynamics. So let's talk about ideas that Gerardo can do in his local market to make it work. The first thing to do is I would focus on your list. We use listrei.com, and you can go in there and search the criteria. I like the vacant ones, but what I would do is if I'm on a limited budget, I'm going to handpick my list. So let your budget determine your level of effort in marketing. So here's the really cool part. When I didn't have a lot of money for marketing, say $400 or $500, man, I made it my mission to understand who would be the most motivated people on that list. So if I had a list of 1,000 and I had to cut it down to 500, I would go through that list and pick it one by one to increase my odds. Because I said, if I can get one deal done, I'll take half that money and then I'll spend it towards direct mail, whatever you do, skip tracing a list, whatever you have to do. So the other thing is I would go and pull the court lists. You guys know I love probates, man. If you don't do probates, you're missing the boat. It is a public list in your local county. you can go hand pull it, and I would be cold calling on the probate list, hands down. The key to probate is speed now. So I always taught to mail, and I still believe in mailing it, but I also actually, Zach taught me how to warm call probate leads. I'll let him take the lead on that one. So I hope those are some ideas. Look for court leads, and then whatever list you're going to purchase, narrow it down, make sure it fits your budget. So if you only have, say, $300 or $400 to spend, but you have a list of like 3,000 people, you're going to have to trim that list down. And I would really, instead of using like a Mojo dialer, I'd probably just be like hand calling them and make it as personal as possible. So I hope that helps. Let me know what you think, Gerardo. We'll go from there. So that leads us to the next one. Where's the best place to pull probate lists? And what list do you like in 2021? So let's think about this. Where's the best place to pull? The best place to pull probate list is from your local courthouse. So some of you have the ability of getting it online, real convenient. You might have to pay a small fee, like 50 or $100 to get access for 6 months or a year. That's great because you have no excuse not to pull it. The downside is so does everybody else. If you have to go into your local courthouse and pull that list, it's a pain in the butt, but the harder the list is, the less competition you'll have. And if you move with speed and you're a hustler, lights out. So it's that simple. What list do I like for 2021? I've already said them, guys. There's no secrets to list. Anybody who tells you I have the secret list and like if you come with me or you pay me a fee, they're lying to you. So the lists are out there. I love high equity lists. What do I mean? High equity just means they've probably owned the house for 4 or 5 plus years, and they have a lot of money built up into it. So say if the house is worth $100,000 and you're looking for people with 50% equity or higher, that means there's at least $50,000 in there. That gives you room to wholesale a house and solve a problem on a motivated seller. So I love high equity. Code violations. If I was on a limited budget, code violations. Yes, the list is harder to get, but the harder it is, the better your results are going to be. If you're on a limited budget, you're going to have to put sweat equity into these deals. Any type of vacant list you get, you guys, we're overlooking the basic one. Code violations, probably number one. You'll run out of people on that. The second one is I do driving for dollars. Hands down. Remember, I bought a house today that the neighbor gave my postcard to the guy who was taking care of the property, and it was boarded up. What if I drove through that neighbor, found up that boarded up house, and hustled my butt off to get that deal done? Guys, it's not rocket science. Code violations, driving for dollars. This is stuff I used when I started, and I still use it today. So I hope that helps, Alex. Let me know if that helps for you. Guys, do me a favor. If you like what you hear, everything, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's go from here. So, okay, Alex says, love it. Great. Awesome. Trying to pull probates lists. Awesome. Okay. So here's I love this stuff, man. Guys, more questions you go, the more we're all going to get out of this. So Gerardo says, I already pulled you. What's your typical response rate? So I am so glad you brought this question up. Response rate. A lot of it's BS. Let me give you an example. Say I do a direct mail, say I mail 500 or 1,000 pieces, whatever, a very small list, but I have a really good list I mail to. And I want the phones ring, guys. Don't get me wrong. Direct response will help you gauge if you're in the right list in the right market. But let me give you an example. I've had lists, I mean big lists, where I've had 5 or 6 phone calls. And when I say big list, like thousands and thousands and thousands, I'm not here to impress you. It's to impress upon you that I had a big list I thought completely bombed. Actually, it was like an emotional roller coaster. This is a little bit when I first started. I decided to really put in the profits I did back in the marketing. I only got 5 phone calls. Of those 5 phone calls, I made 2 appointments. One appointment bombed. I got my butt kicked. If you haven't got your butt kicked on an appointment, stay tuned. I'll share with you my stories with me and Zach. And I had one guy who called me and says, I, I'm done with the house. I can't take it anymore. If you make me a reasonable offer, and I met with him and we hit it off. And from that one mailer, I made $55,000. Now the mailer cost me, I think it was like $1,700 at the time. At the time, that was a lot of money to me. But if I just based it on the response rate, I would have stopped direct mailing. And that's why I see so much. I see people on social media. I heard, I hear, I heard. Guys, don't take advice from people that you don't want to be in their shoes. So if your neighbor tells you direct mail sucks and it doesn't work, and they don't do real estate investing, and they're out there, mowing their lawns, washing their cars, like just not doing anything productive in their life, don't take advice from them. Don't take advice from people that you don't want to be in their shoes. So the word I heard, heed the warning, because you're going to take somebody else's opinion. Everybody has an opinion, especially on social media today. So I hope that helps you. Response rate helps you gauge in the long run, but in the short time, you'll make really bad decisions. I can't tell you how many people like, oh, I did one mailing and it bombed. Okay. Tell me about your list. Tell me about the frequency you're doing it. Are you consistent in your marketing? And if you're not, it doesn't, I agree. If it doesn't work, if you think it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Move on. I've been doing it 18 years. Why does it work for me and it doesn't work for you? It's because you don't believe in it. You're not consistent. You're not learning from people that actually do the business. Maybe you have a guru that spends full-time coaching on the internet and he doesn't or she doesn't do active deals. Maybe you need to heed the warning. So guys, we're on a mission here to help people. I know what it's like to be in your shoes. I want to help you out. I took Zach with 0 real estate experience. And in 90 days, we're talking about 100K. So if a 17-year-old can do it and a 51-year-old father can do it, what's your excuse? Guys, you are no different than me and Zach. And that's what we want to share with you. So awesome question. Let's keep it going. I'll take them in the order as long as they keep coming. Let's see here. Mama Invest. I love it. Great. Alex is loving it. Let's see here. Currently pulling the list. Okay, I got one here. Let's see here. Bernard says, hey, Rick, I might have missed it, but what is a good mailing sequence and how many times do you mail to a prospect before you stop mailing them? Guys, I don't want you to overthink direct mail. It's really, really simple. So let's start with the first part. What is a good mailing sequence? So I assume you're referring to is how many times do you mail to a prospect? If you're just starting out in direct mail, I'm going to share a big secret with you. Most of the gurus are flat out lying to you. I find motivated sellers don't require 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of mail. If I'm on a limited budget, say you have the budget to mail to 1,000 people, okay? Let me ask you this. Do you want to mail to 1,000 different prospective motivated sellers? Or do you want to mail to 200 prospective mailers in a sequence of 5, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is? I don't know about you. I'm a shotgun guy. I'm going to shoot it out. You got to get in your first deal. Do not even worry about mail sequence if you're just starting out in direct mail. It doesn't matter because you got to get your first deal. When you get more deals, I agree. And so what I would do is as you grow and you reinvest your profits back in the marketing is then you can talk about sequencing. Do a follow-up mailer in 60 days or 90 days. But if you're just getting started out to do mailers every 30 days, it's expensive. And if you're just learning and you're trying to negotiate with sellers, you're bombarding yourself with information. So I always started out with a shotgun approach. It works. I rather get my point across and spread the net. So if I'm fishing, if you do the mailing sequence, although it works very well, but most people don't have the budget for it, and you have to do logistics for it, is you're fishing with one fishing pole. Guys, I like fishing. Sorry, I'm using an analogy here. The other one is you can take a cast net and spread it out and see what you can sift out of it. I would start there. So mail sequence, if you're just starting out, please don't focus on mail sequence. Just if you got 1,000 prospects, get the best 1,000 prospects and get that mail out. Don't worry about the sequence. Let's get a deal under your belt, and then we can talk about sequence after you get deal 4 and 5. Don't spend time on that. It's like a little thing all the gurus, you got to mail over and over. Guys, you don't need to mail every 30 days. It gets expensive. If you don't have the deal flow for it, you can't pay for it and you're going to be out of business. I'm here to give you tricks and tips to get started in direct mail today. So the next question is, how many times do you mail a prospect before you stop mailing to them? That's your choice. That's dependent on your budget and your experience level. Me, I'll mail till they die. But I've been doing this 18 years. If I'm starting out today, if I mailed 1,000 and I get it, say I get a deal from it, I might go back and do a secondary mailer and tighten up that list a little bit more. Now, if I mailed 1,000 and I didn't get a deal, it doesn't mean it didn't work. It just didn't work at that time. The really cool thing about direct mail is I've had people call me 2 and 3 years later. So the other tip is, if you have a virtual phone number tied up with your direct mail, marry it, keep it, don't stop it, even if you stop your direct mail campaigns, because people set the postcards around, they put them on their desk, they set them on the fridge, and they will call you out of the blue and they will shock you. And that's the thing I really love about direct mail. So Bernard, I hope that answers it. It depends. If I got 10 or 15 deals on my belt, then you can talk about sequencing. When you turn it off, it's up to you. It's your budget. I can't tell you how much to spend. Don't let a guru tell you how much to spend either. Guys, I know what it's like to work. Here's a really cool thing, is the tighter your budget is, the better you'll be at this. I can't tell you how many guys I've seen, they'll pay someone a ton of money and they'll spend $5,000 a month in marketing. Guess what? They fail because they're not paying attention. Money alone will not solve your problem. Going out and paying someone and expecting like duplexes to pull up in your driveway, it doesn't work. It's a fairy tale. That's why it's so sexy to show the cars and I'm on the beach and on my time, on a plane, I don't do anything. Guys, this is work. It's fun, but man, is it rewarding. So thanks, Bernard. Good question. Joe says, should I send them direct mail? It's up to you. Depends on your, do you like having inbound calls? To me, inbound calls is sometimes a lot easier than like cold calling. I'm not a cold calling guy. Zach is a beast at cold calling. I'm not. It's a pain in the butt. Like, I don't like to get cold calls. I never did it. I'm not the expert. I have people that do it for me, but I've been doing this 18 years. So the answer to your question, Joe, is should I? Why not? You have nothing to lose. If you get one deal out of it, just make sure your budget for the marketing is dialed in. So if you've allotted to spend $500 a month for marketing, you need to pick the marketing channels that fit your personality best. If you hate and you fear cold calling and you're skip tracing and paying for the list, it's not fun. So guys, you chose to get into this business, wholesaling real estate, because you want freedom in your life and you want to do what you want when you want. But if you don't like it, what the heck would you do it for? So if not, maybe get a partner that loves the cold call or someone like that. If you like the idea of sending out a piece and having direct mail to come in, now direct mail is not, you don't get that instant satisfaction of like getting a deal tomorrow. But in the long run, guys, listen to me. I've done it for 18 years and it still works in today's market. You know why it works? A, I believe in it. I know it works. And I'm extremely consistent in what I do. But I've always catered direct mail based on my marketing budget. So don't let someone convince you to spend more than you can afford. that is a recipe for disaster. The less money you have, actually, the sharper you at direct mail, because you're going to pay attention and you're trying not to make a mistake. You still will make mistakes. That's how we learn. School taught it wrong to you. I'm teaching it to you right. So Joe, it's up to you. Do it. Let's keep going here. I found a probate beneficiary that owns 2 houses. Really cool. Both need a lot of work. So we have some sign of motivation there. We have it. They said they were keeping them for now. Should I follow up? And how long should I wait? So the answer to number 1 is, should I follow up? Yes. Guys, use your CRM, use Podio, use a pad. I used a pad for the first 3 years of my business. But you have tools like Google Drive. You can store your files. Doesn't cost you a dime. So put them on like a ticker with a date and follow up with them. How frequently you follow them up is the question you really need to be asking. I don't know. I mean, someone like that who's keeping it, I would probably put them on like a 60 or 90 day tickler, and just like they're like, oh, here comes Joe. She's calling me again. The last part of the question is, how long should I wait? I don't know. I'm willing to wait 18, 20, 50 years. Who cares? Like if they make a decision, say 2 years down the road to sell that property because it's a headache to them, then that's a deal in the pipeline 2 years down the road. See, what a lot of the experts won't tell you is over my 18 years is I get deals coming to me all of the time because I've put in the hard work. I've sat in your shoes. I did cold calling when I didn't want to do it. I had other people help me out. I did direct mail when I had no leads. We did SMS. I went to RIA meetings. I used people that partner up and did JV deals. So what happens now, I probably get a dozen deals a year just because everybody knows what I do. And so how long you're willing to wait? I don't know, till you die. Like who can, like forever. Like that's it. That's the answer for it. So good question. So let's move on. I got Jerry Powers here. What's up, Jerry? I'm sending letters and postcards to probate leads a total of 8 times about every 20 days, a total of 8 times about every 20 days so that they don't land on the same day of the week. I haven't received any calls yet after a little over a month. What do you think about this plan? Sending letters and postcards. So number 1, if you're going to do direct mail with probates, use letters. They work. They're a little bit, they get open faster and people just give them more credit. Postcards don't work really well on an initial contact on probate. So that's the first thing I would change. A total of 8 times about every 20 days. So I don't know if that comes to, I'm not sure about the 8 times, but I like what you're doing. Guys, here's a tip. When you mail to probates, it's a long game. It's slow and long. So you usually get a shot sometimes at the very beginning, but remember, there's realtors actually chasing these leads and other investors just like you, or they call you 6 months or 12 months or 2 years down the road. I want to get it up front, but I'm patient. I'm a patient investor. That's why I've done this so long. So be patient with that. Number 2 is the world's changed. Let's face it. Everyone has access to such information. What I would implement to increase your odds, Jerry, is I would start warm calling, which is cold calling with purpose and call. And Zach has shared awesome tips to go into it. You don't want to call and say, listen, I know, your mother's passed away or something like that. We don't approach that because I would never let someone do that. You call me on that, I'm just going to hang up on you. So a simple call, say, listen, my partner drove by your property and it looks like someone would be interested in buying. Are you interested in selling? And it's just that simple. And if you get a yes, you can move forward. If not, you just take them off your list and move on. So I would implement a warm calling with that. It's going to help push the ones that are ready to go now. And then the mailing, I would just do postcards only. I think you're on the right track. Remember, I don't get a deal every month on probate mailings, but I'm very, very consistent with it. So really, really, really good question. Guys, good questions. Let's keep moving. If you like the information, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, smash the like, and we will keep them coming. So I'm working my way up. Sorry. There's this annoying guy on here. You guys let me know if you want to block him. Zach Ginn, anybody know him? So do you guys want me to go live more often than not? So I know you guys enjoy Zach better than me, and I'm okay with that. That's by design, because the goal of every father in their life is to make their kids better than what they were. So hopefully we accomplished it. So guys, let me know what you think. Great question, Zach. Let's see here. How frequently? Awesome. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Bernard's asking postcards or letters. We talked about this early. Yeah, it does matter. I'm not a big letter guy. They're a little bit, they're pricey. They're going to be about double the cost of postcards. And then number two, the cost. And plus, if you're going to do, say you want to do the DIY method for letters, you got to get an envelope. That's going to cost you probably a nickel. You got to get a piece of paper. You got to print the whole thing out. We typically hand sign the letters. I guess I'm sharing too much with you guys. No, I want to share it with you. Sign your letters. Just do a scribbly in blue ink, preferably a felt pen, and it gives it authenticity, which you need to be unique and different in your mail piece. And that's what I'm trying to share with you guys. So make sure you do letters for probates. Outside of that, I would just do postcards. They're fast, they're efficient, and you can use mail houses. We like to use open letter. Open letter. It's just open letter. You can Google them, open letter marketing. And why not? Guys, for a long time, I don't know if you guys knew this, I actually had a little mail house in my room, and I actually bought the machines. They were expensive. It was like $3,000 or $4,000, and I'd stuff the postcards in there. And Zach can verify this to you. That machine would freaking run all night. It was a mess with ink. It smelled. It was loud. And at the time, I thought I was being more efficient, but I didn't have access to all the services that are available now. Fast forward to 2021, I would never even touch that part of the business. They're literally charging you for a few cents profit, and they're doing all the work. So why? Unless you're on a super tight budget, you want to do in your house, but often the mail houses will do it much cheaper than you'll be able to do it. So I like postcards. They're fast, they're cheap, and then you can duplicate people like me and Zach and piggyback off their ad copy. So I hope that helps out with it. So let's see. Yeah, Bernard says go live more. So awesome. So what I need you guys to do is just post. Let me see here. I am slow at this. Just do me a favor. Post your comments and your questions below. We will answer every one of them. And the really cool thing, you guys, we're posting content on a daily basis. So I want to contribute. I want to help out. I love this business. Me and Zach work together. We're a family operation, and we just want to give back. So I don't want people saying, hey, listen, I have to pay X amount of dollars to be successful. Actually, it's the opposite. That's what you're all kind of being fooled on, is you could go out and get this information, and the deal is get you the first deal. If you can get a couple deals on it, then you can make a decision if you want to do something with it. But if you're on a limited budget and you're trying to figure it out, we want to get you to your first deal to get you that confidence and that aha moment that works with it. So let's go back. Let's look at some comments. Here's a good one. Let's see. Okay. How can you tell a true motivated seller versus someone who will sell for the right price? So this comes up all the time. So a motivated seller, first of all, if you start with the right list and the right target, by the way, if you start with FSBOs, most of them are going to want to sell for the right price. But let's focus on motivated sellers. You have to go through and qualify them. And here's a tip. There is a million scripts out there. Zach provides them all for you. We provide them right here on this channel at like Flip with Rick. Is you have to ask qualifying questions in order of importance. What do I mean by that? I'm not being paid by the hour to sit on the phone and talk to motivated sellers. So I want to disqualify as many of the people that do not fit the criteria. If there's no motivation, guys, write this down. If there's no motivation, you're never going to get a good deal. So if you can't find a motivating factor in your first 3 or 4 questions, politely move on and go to your next prospect. What are qualifying questions? Tell me a little bit about the house. If it's a pretty little house with a white picket fence and it's perfect and I want $1 million, God bless you. Move on. So, hey, I'm just getting tired of the house and it's a problem. So your questions, without going into the full script here, is make them in order of importance. So number 1, are you interested in selling your house? Not really. Okay, why would you go through like 15 questions at that point? If they're not interested in selling their house, there's no point in having a conversation with them. Am I right? So number 2, if you sold your house to me, where would you move to? Guys, if people don't know where they're going to move, you aren't buying that house anytime soon. So it's a trick we use. I don't use it as a number 2 question, but it's definitely in my top 5 questions. If I were to buy your house, where would you move to? People that are ready to sell, they're highly motivated. They already have a plan in their head. When they have a plan, if you guys have ever moved, it's a lot of work. You got to pack, you got to figure logistics, moving trucks. You got to turn on utilities. Am I going to live with mom? Am I moving in with my sister? If they don't know where they're going, that means they're probably 6 months to a year from ever even considering moving. Guys, if you're selling your house and they're going to sell it quick, they've got to have a plan. So when say goes, hey, Susie, if I buy your house, where are you going to move to? And she says, I'm moving with my mom in Virginia. And she says, as soon as I get a contract, she's going to have the moving van and we're ready to go. That's a motivated seller. On the other side, sell for the right price. Guys, we're not on a game show. We are not on it. This is not The Price is Right. When I hear I will sell it for the right price, listen, if anything changes, keep my postcard, keep my name and number. And if you need to sell it quick, you know where I'm at. Why waste energy on someone like that? They need a realtor. Unless there's a problem with the house, there's 2 criteria on a motivated seller. If the seller's motivated, meaning financial, loss of income, sometimes divorce, those aren't the best ones, by the way. They got to bail somebody out of jail, or the house. So the first thing is the seller. If they're motivated, 9 times out of 10, you can get a deal. Sometimes the house is motivated, meaning the house is it's just deferred maintenance. The AC is not working. The roof is leaking. If the house is motivated and the seller's not, I'm going to keep them on my follow-up list forever, because eventually that house has to sell. It's not going to sell traditionally with a realtor. If the house is motivated and the seller's motivated, I know I have a high probability I'm going to focus all my energy on trying to get a deal on that house. If the house is not motivated and the seller's not motivated, I'm moving on. I'm probably just going to take them off my list. If the house is motivated, meaning it has deferred maintenance, anything like that, and the seller's not, I'm going to keep them on a continuous follow-up. So I hope that helps with that. Great question, guys. We're going to wrap it up. I see Jim on there. We talked earlier. How you doing, Jim? Good to see you. You're in the right place. Guys, last questions. I'm opening up the last round. I'm going to take another 2 minutes here and we're going to wrap this up. I appreciate you meeting with me this Friday night. And let's see here. Abijak says, I got licensed to sell real estate. Did I screw up? I don't know. Do you want to be a licensed real estate agent? It's completely up to you. So how I operate it, just kind of let you know, is having a license gives you access to a lot of great information. But in today's age, with the availability of information on the internet, it doesn't really require a license to get anymore. You can use Zillow, you can use listrei.com. It will do all your comps, valuations, everything for you. There's so many services today. It's not nearly as nice. The question is, why did you get it? And what are you using the information for? It's so easy to use it. Now, if you like doing listings in real estate and stuff like that, that's what you want, then go ahead. Getting your license has its pros and cons. And I don't want to go on the whole list here, but understanding you are regulated by a kind of a board of commissioners, and anybody can complain against you. Also, on your marketing material, you have to disclose you're a licensed realtor. And I'm going to be honest with you, some people don't want to hear from a realtor because they have so much pain from previous experience with a realtor. So it's not the end of the world if you got it. Just make sure you clearly define why you want to do it. In 18 years, I never got mine. Zach didn't get his, so it's not a requirement. If you got it, whatever. It's like the real estate mafia with the type of fees and everything they have to do for you. I don't like being a real estate agent. It's not my cup of tea. I have no patience for anything retail on the real estate side. So not the end of the world. You're not going to get those fees back. And then when it comes up for renewal, you can make that decision then. If you like to deal with listings and stuff like that, I prefer you farm them out and get some sort of marketing fee for it. It's not a requirement. You didn't screw up. Don't worry about it. You probably just got some bad advice. But if that's your passion you're trying to do, you can do both. You just have to balance them out. So give you an example. My wife's a licensed realtor. I'm not. So maybe your partner's a licensed realtor and you're not. That's probably the perfect scenario because you can separate them. It doesn't affect your marketing. And God forbid somebody makes a complaint. You don't have to sit in front of your broker and explain what you're doing, because most real estate agents, it's just the truth. They're very anti real estate investor. And when it comes to wholesalers, it's even worse. So that's my opinion. And you don't have to change it. You didn't screw up. And it's not the end of the world. There's worse decisions you could make. If you truly want to be a licensed realtor, knock yourself out and do it. If you want to do it's just hard if you do this business full time, especially in wholesaling and real estate investing and being a licensed agent, because we're constantly competing with realtors in this business and you can't wear both hats at the same time. So it's really good if your partner or your spouse or somebody you really trust. In the beginning, when I didn't have a realtor, my wife wasn't a realtor, I would bring a realtor in when I needed it. So just decide if you want to renew it. Don't get hung up on it. Plenty of real estate investors have their license. Most of them start out as realtors and they switch over, but don't lose sleep over it. I appreciate the question. It's really, really good. So don't lose sleep over it, man. Just decide if you want to move forward with it. I just hate paying all those fees. So if you're going to list like 5 or 6 properties a year, it might be worth it, but it would be nice if you had some sort of separation. So good question, man. So you're welcome. Okay, guys, we're wrapping this up. I'm going to wait 1 more minute for 1 more question. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm a newbie. How long should I wait to get started wholesaling? Right now. Right now. So on the Flip with Rick YouTube channel, we post content every day. There's plenty of information. And here's the really cool part. I'm not charging you. Like, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars educating myself. I've trained to me, what I think is my greatest student ever, Zachary. And at 17, while he was in high school, he learned how to earn 6 figures. So do not wait for the perfect scenario. Life doesn't work that way. So schooling's important, stuff like that, but you got to understand is you're never going to get everything perfectly right. So if you're going to wait 2-3 years to try to educate yourself, it doesn't work that way in the business world. Yes, we need licensed professionals, we need engineers, architects, doctors, lawyers, nurses, everything. But when it comes to wholesaling, you have to dive in, get some fundamentals, and start hustling, start grinding and doing it. So many people say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to try. No, there's no trying in wholesaling. You either do it or you don't. And the really cool thing is you have enough information right here on the Flip with Rick, especially the YouTube Go to Facebook on the group, and I'm providing what normally would cost you a ton of money. And here's a really cool part. You get myself, got a lot of wisdom, and you get Zach. He's young, a lot of energy, and he's very up to date on the most modern stuff happening. You get the best of both worlds. So start right now. So I hope that helps you out. Don't see a name on there. Do you have a sub? Do you have a course on sub two, Mara? No, I don't. We don't sell anything on here. Like that's our difference maker. Is I don't want your money, and quite the contrary. I'm going to show you actually how to take the beginner steps to get you going on to your first deal. So if anybody tells you got to trade, I don't know, 5K, 10K, 3K to figure this out, I'm going to tell you, you don't anymore. There's plenty of information out there. What you need to do is find somebody that aligns with who fundamentally like clicks with you. So I'm a father. I got 2 kids, and Zach decided to go to the business route. I didn't wait till he graduated from college to do it. I said, buckle up, let's go now. He wanted to do it. Listen, he was doing high school sports while he was doing this. So like there's never wait for the perfect time. It doesn't work. So now, have I done sub 2? I've done hundreds of sub 2s. And if somebody needs help with a sub 2, I'll share my heart out and help them out with it. But I wouldn't start out with sub 2s because there is a lot of dynamics in it. What you want to do is I recommend starting out in wholesaling and real estate, because to me, it's the quickest way to learn the skill sets and acquire the money you need and the time freedom, either from your job. Maybe you're trying to finish up school. Maybe you're trying to raise money to help support your family, whatever it is. But I don't have a course, sorry. But here's a really cool thing is I'm going to give you all the teachings and everything you need, and there's no fee for it. So I hope that helps you out, Mara. I hope I'm saying it right. So, okay, guys, I got the last 3 questions and we are done. Do you guys operate under an LLC? I'm not here to give you legal advice, and I'm not a lawyer. That's something you want to contact a lawyer. LLC is really, really simple. But if you're wholesaling, you are not required to have a company. It's not a requirement. It's probably going to be recommended by a lawyer. So an LLC is the simplest way. You can separate from personal and a business, and it costs you, depending on what your state, between $100 and $150 on most states. So if you want to do it, it's a really simple process setup. Go see a lawyer, get the right information. That's it on that. So, okay. I got the last 3 here. Which video should I start with? Whichever one resonates with you. How's that? So I think, listen, I'm not a tech expert, but you can figure out how to do a search in there. And I would find out some tips on like just the basics and getting started. So Zach's the expert because he's fresh from coming off on this. And he actually did this while he was in high school and finished college. And while he was up at the University of Florida, he was flipping properties while he was in school full time. So he said, I want to learn now. I don't want to wait. And because he's done that, gives him the ability to provide content to you now. So go in there, kind of search, see what resonates with you, and have at it. So, okay, guys, you answered the question. Awesome. Okay. Shout back out to Jim. So let me do this, guys. We're going to wrap this up. Do me a favor. Okay. Smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button. If you want to see more information just like this, we bring it to you on a daily basis. We are the only wholesaling real estate family dynamic duo. Forget family. We are family because we love doing this business and it's fun. And if it resonates with you, please subscribe. Comment if you want to see more information like this, or if you want a topic that you want to deeper explore. I love doing the lives. We have the recorded information. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out with everything today, and check us out online on Facebook, and I'll see you guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.